Welcome to the Black History All-Stars podcast, where we celebrate the remarkable men and women who have profoundly influenced our world and our role within it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to discover the extraordinary individuals whose contributions often remain unsung in American history. In the quiet expanse of New Jersey's Pine Barrens, a child named William Still was born into a society that tried to predetermine his destiny based on the color of his skin. Destiny be damned, William would go on to become a businessman, writer, chairman of the Vigilance Committee of the Pennsylvania Anti-Slavery Society, a coal merchant and a philanthropist. But what he is most known for is serving as a conductor of the Underground Railroad, where he was responsible for aiding and assisting at least 649 slaves to freedom. Born free in 1821, he was the youngest of 18 children to parents who had escaped the shackles of slavery. William Still's parents were Levin and Sidney Steele, who were enslaved on adjacent plantations in Maryland in the 1790s. In 1798, William's father was able to purchase his own freedom and move to New Jersey. His mother, Sidney, later known as Charity, was able to successfully escape from her plantation to join her husband in freedom. But the price was high, as she was forced to leave her two oldest sons behind. Levin changed the family name to Still to help protect his wife and children from slave catchers. William's early years were spent in the countryside of New Jersey, where his family worked tirelessly to build a life of freedom. Despite limited formal education, young William was a voracious reader, teaching himself and laying the foundation for his future. In 1844, seeking greater opportunities, William moved to Philadelphia at the age of 23. There, he began his work as a clerk for the Pennsylvania Anti-Slavery Society, a position that would mark the start of his remarkable journey as an abolitionist. His work as a clerk helped him establish a vast network for safe houses and transportation routes. With this knowledge, William quickly became a key figure in the Underground Railroad, helping countless enslaved individuals escape to freedom. Still's work with the Underground Railroad was dangerous, as he often had to evade slave catchers and law enforcement officials who were determined to stop the flow of escaped slaves. Despite the risks, he remained steadfast in his commitment to the abolitionist cause, even after the passage of the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850, which made it a federal crime to assist escaped slaves. His meticulous records and strategic mind made him a beacon of hope for many. He painstakingly documented the stories of the enslaved people he helped, recording their names, origins, and the details of their harrowing journeys to freedom. These records, later published in his book The Underground Railroad, became an invaluable resource for reuniting families and preserving the histories of the enslaved. One of the most touching moments of William's life was the reunion with his long-lost brother, Peter. Born a slave, Peter and his oldest brother, Levin Jr., were sold down south at the ages of 8 and 6 after their mother was caught in her first attempt to escape from the horrors of slavery. Much later in life, Peter was allowed to earn money for himself. He toiled for years until he was able to save $500, $18,312 in 2023, to purchase his manumission in 1850 at the age of 49. Sadly, his brother Levin Jr. died in 1831, never knowing freedom. Shortly after manumission, Peter made his way to Philadelphia, where he serendipitously encountered his long-lost youngest brother, William Still, who was working as a clerk at the anti-slavery office. After their emotional reunion, William and Peter traveled across the Delaware River to New Jersey. There, Peter was reunited with his now 80-year-old mother Sidney, who had been separated from him for over 40 years. Even after this miraculous reunion, Peter's family was still enslaved in Alabama. William Still then helped Peter launch a fundraising campaign to raise the $5,000, the equivalent of $196,632.05 in 2023, needed to purchase the freedom of Peter's wife and children. This personal triumph underscored the importance of William's mission to liberate his people. In 1855, William Still was involved in a widely publicized rescue operation of Jane Johnson, an enslaved woman who sought the assistance of the Society for Freedom. This occurred as she and her children were in transit through Philadelphia with her enslaver, John Hill Wheeler, the newly appointed U.S. Minister to Nicaragua. Leveraging Pennsylvania's law that allowed enslaved individuals brought voluntarily to the state by their enslavers to opt for freedom, Still, along with others, facilitated the liberation of Johnson and her two sons. The case gained considerable attention in August 1855. 4 years later, in 1859, Still took a stand against the racial segregation enforced on the city's public transportation, which mandated separate seating for white and black passengers. He persistently advocated for change, and his efforts bore fruit in 1865 when the Pennsylvania legislature enacted a law mandating the desegregation of streetcars throughout the state. Harriet Tubman, herself known for her heroic efforts as a conductor on the Underground Railroad, worked closely with Still and frequently passed through his office in Philadelphia, seeking protection and support for the people she was guiding to freedom. Still provided Tubman with the resources she needed to navigate the Underground Railroad over 10 years, during which she returned to Maryland 13 times and brought approximately 70 people to the North. Their partnership and mutual dedication to the cause of freedom for enslaved people highlight the respect and trust they likely had for each other. As the nation was torn apart by civil war, William Still's efforts became even more crucial. Not only did he continue to aid fugitive slaves with housing and safe passage, Still operated the Post Exchange at Camp William Penn. This camp was the training ground for the United States colored troops located north of Philadelphia. Still was an enterprising individual. He opened a stove store during the war, catering to the needs of the local community. Additionally, he bought a coal yard and started a coal delivery business, which continued even after the war. He witnessed the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation and continued to fight for the rights of African Americans in the war's aftermath. William Still passed away in 1902, at the age of 80, due to heart complications. However, his legacy as a prominent abolitionist, civil rights activist, and historian still endures and has shaped the lives of millions of African Americans today. He documented his experiences in the Underground Railroad records, ensuring that the stories of those he helped would never be forgotten. His book remains one of the most important historical sources on the workings of the network and the people it served. Today, we remember him as a father of the Underground Railroad and a champion for freedom. William Still's light continues to shine, guiding us toward a future where freedom and equality are not just ideals, but realities for all. Thank you for exploring this topic with us. Drop a comment below letting us know if you learned anything new today. Also, let us know what other people or events you'd like to see showcased in an upcoming episode. Finally, don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be notified when a new video is posted.